Go, gadget flow. I'm on my go, gadget flow. Go, gadget flow. Yeah. You know what time it is. Mekkamillz always out here to give you that good, depending on how you feel. Now, welcome to another episode or another season of the RadarVault podcast. It has been a minute, and facts, a lot of people thought that this wasn't going to happen, but we are coming back better, stronger, and this time much more aggressive. And with me today, I have people, I have my bloods, my number ones, my day ones, and there's some fun facts I'll let you know about. But for now, I want to briefly introduce the people that are on the first episode of season 2 with me on the RadarVault podcast. And I have Chike with me right here. Chike, what's up, bro?
Man, I'm good, man. You're making me feel emotional.
Emotional.
I'm happy to be here. It's an honor. It's a pleasure.
Definitely.
Bro, it's all good, man. We go all the way back. We've gone through experiences, and we're people that are hustling and bustling and trying to be people to be responsible, not just for ourselves, but for the society. So I really appreciate what you're doing, and man, keep it up. Yeah, it's an honor to be on season 2.
We're good. We're blood. We go way back.
We go.
Obviously, we have Bebo in the house. Bebo, say what's up.
What up?
Hey, fun fact, this is not Bebo's first time. Bebo was actually on the first season of the podcast, but a lot of mishaps happened and it just deteriorated the whole motive. But yeah, we got Bebo again, so we're dealing with real ones though. People, how you doing, man? How was your day?
I'm doing great. It's an honor to be on your show. Obviously you have people, your day ones here, and let's not talk about.
Oh, you mean my day one? Come on.
Let's not talk about going way back. It feels great to be on your show.
It was nice having you, babe, people. So, y'all tell me now, how was the transition? I always ask this question: transition coming through. What's the day been like? Because I know, you guys had you must have an eventful, packed day. So I always want to find out, how the day was, how it was for you to come over to the show and make it on the show. Chike, what was it like, man? The whole day, summarize it leading up to just getting in here and just getting this popping. Man,
I value relationships 100%, and I do anything for my day ones. But my day was I had to cancel a schedule to be here, bro, because I felt, man, no excuse. This is something that we're talking about life, we're talking about society, time is moving,
Facts.
So, but the whole hustle and bustle, I'm a Nigerian youth now, I'm a Niger boy from Abia State, anyhow it be.
My guy.
But we go way back though. But my day was okay, trying to be in a trades finance consultant, trying to get clients, also into the real estate business, anyhow believe, how do they call it?
Anywhere believe.
Anywhere believe. Sorry, man. I mean, no vex. So if not pidgin, if I can speak pidgin, yeah. I'm Nigerian, So anyhow believe. I was trying to speak pidgin in an English way. Forgive me.
Yeah,
but anyhow believe, as a Nigerian, you go hustle. I had to be here for you, bro. I had to be here for this show. I had to be here to also speak my experience, speak my truth, and be able to give on to society what society has given back to me. So that's it. Anything for you. And I want to commend you. You know how to keep relationship. This guy, since you guys have been since JS1, man, or since secondary school. Oh my goodness, I said JS1, primary school. That's relationship. That's good, and he's a great guy. So I'm glad to be here. This is my first time meeting him, and I'm really glad.
To, me, I'm big on relationships. I'm big on truth. I'm big on loyalty. Loyalty, particularly for me, is a very key factor, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people don't really take serious around here. And for me, I feel like it has more meaning to it. I mean, people have certain things and certain waves in lives where the ups, downs, and everybody is facing their own problems. But once in a while, it's always good to just try and hold on to it. It doesn't take anything from you. Just a little hi there, what's up, and this is just a little thing that can make a big difference in the future. You know what I mean? So those are the key factors for me. Bebo.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, it feels great to be here. My day was a very homely day, but I had two online meetings that I had to sort out. I also spent time, actually making like food for the family and
you
know, homely shit like that, which is also what is important. You guys mentioned loyalty, you guys mentioned truth, you know. So doing stuff like that with and for your family, you know, is also part of like the program.
Definitely,
you know.
definitely.
So it feels great to be here, and great job.
Thank you for making out time to.
You should have seen you should have seen my family in the house when I was preparing for this. It was like I was preparing to see Joe Biden. But, you know, but the thing is that Joe Biden could never.
Now that's the spirit right there. That's the spirit right there. I love that so much, man. We're just aspiring to be something great in life, and we just try to push ourselves every day to just, you know, be better. And on my side, it was typically just, you know, I do a lot typically. You know, I have my music coming up, I have my album dropping. I have so much going on. I'm just trying to work around a lot of things and just try to plan photo shoots and do everything together. So it was really hectic for me. But, you know, I'm glad I actually did put everything together and still made it for the show, which is the most important thing. And I'm really, really honored to have both of you on the show. It's amazing, and I really loved it. But back to y'all. This is RadarVault Podcast Season 2, Episode 1. You heard that right. Back, better, stronger, and with more enthusiasm. On this episode particularly, we're going to be discussing the chain of power in a relationship, the chain of power in a family, and which will obviously lead up to equal rights. And when I say the chain of power, is like we're trying to discuss the dynamics between who is more of a breadwinner, who is more of the dominant factor in a relationship, who is more of in charge in a relationship. And if you pay attention to society and everything that's happening, you know, around you, you can some people, I don't want to speak for everybody, most of the times I like to speak for myself, you understand, but some people will actually say that dynamics is shifting, especially from the masculine side more over to the feminine side. I feel like it's something that hasn't even transitioned yet into Africa, but I think it's gradually creeping in certain places that typically developed, you know. But in the Western countries, right, there's a lot of that transition happening, and a lot of females are actually feeling that they're much more dominant and they can handle and control the responsibilities of what a man is supposed to be, years or a few years ago. So we're generally going to discuss that. That's pretty much like the basics of this episode, and it will be very amazing to like kind of like get you guys insights in it and what your perceptions of it about, and how you feel. And then obviously when I mean the masculine, the feminine, it doesn't necessarily have to be targeted towards whether the male or the female. It's any predominant particular figure that is more of what's the word? Head breadwinner, or you know, more of like the head of the family. It could be anybody. It could be a brother that you could. Some people are orphans and whatever, and then the first son has to take responsibilities and things like that. So those are the kind of things I want us to like dive deep into it and kind of like understand the shift of it, because a lot of things that happen for Lagos, for Yankee in the States, in the Western country, in America. So it's gonna be fun. So y'all should just like, don't touch that down and kick it with us. So Chike, my nigga,
man. So my nigga, my brother from a hot mother.
You know what time it is.
That's what's up.
That's not getting to the nitty-gritty. Fast, I spin some bars right now.
okay, real quick.
So tell me, like, what's your own understanding of it particularly?
Well, in my own opinion, so it doesn't look like I am speaking for everybody, but from my own opinion, and built with facts, built with experiences, built with knowledge, built with the oldest book that has ever been written, which is the Bible. It's a scripture. It's important to know how the society has been functioned, has been structured. We are human beings, you know. We are man. And man consists of three things. Man is this flesh that lives that has a soul and has a spirit, you know. So we have to understand that there is hierarchy to everything in life, you know. Everything has been put in line and precepts. You have to have the head before the the tail. And the Bible says, and I know I don't want to sound too religious. I'm not a religious person. I just follow the teachings of Christ, which is one of the most powerful teachings, and it's you have to be able to, the kingdom of God is within us, and you have to understand that in that kingdom there's hierarchy. Why did God kick Satan out of hell, or out of heaven, excuse me? It's because he went against the hierarchy. God has put in charge of the family the man. He's the head. He has the umbrella. He's the coverage of the family. The man is meant to be a sole provider for the family, and that's why I despise when people rush into marriages, because you have to understand why this institution, that's the oldest institution ever created, you have to understand why it was created in the first place, to reproduce, to replenish the earth. And what do you give back to the society? What you have within you. It's your seed. You bring back into this earth what you have within you. Definitely. And in that seed, you nurture that seed. You understand? Yeah. So whatever the seed becomes, it's your bringing. And you see a lot of people, because they came from dysfunctional homes, that shapes their ideology of what marriage should look like, or you start making a few peanuts, you feel you're in charge of the family as a female. I will speak as an African man. I'm an Igbo man, you understand? And culture also binds us, and we have some certain things. Igbo men, we only respect our chi. We don't believe in any king. We believe that we have God and we have ourselves to prove. Yeah. And the man is the head of the family. He has to drive. Sorry, I screamed that.
Yeah, it's okay.
He has to drive how the family moves. Okay, and the man is the head of the home. The woman can earn more, but any woman that knows that she's the helpmate, because women, the women make the world go round. I swear, this world would be so boring without women. Women have to know that they have so much power. So I feel very, very painful when sometimes they come with the quote, or they are fighting feminism, when they know that without women, this world will be useless.
So you're saying like your upbringing sort of determines your approach in terms of leadership in a home.
Yeah, upbringing.
Your background sort of like affects how your perception of it would be.
Definitely, that plays a major role. What you're fed. Okay, so if you grow up in a family and you see how your father is acting in the house, and how he's treating his wife, how he's providing for the family, how he's been able to shelter the home, say, okay, we can do this. This is how we budget. This is how I'm earning. This is what you're earning. Bring it to the table. This is how we are going to move this family. This is what I want the kids to be. This is how the school I want them to go. You grow with that mindset. Okay, yeah, so, but you still see your mother still doing some certain things. She's not a dollar. She's very intelligent. Because let me tell you, the Bible has been clear from the onset. I'll have to make reference to the Bible because it's a guiding pinnacle for me, Like I say, I'm not a religious person, I'm just saying. So you have to know that regardless of anything in the home, the man is the head. He might be a dullard, he might be out of job, he might not have the sense, but he has married you and you're his wife. Let me allow my guy to talk. Yeah.
But before that, let me ask you one question, right? Yeah. What about if you notice, right, the transition? There's a slight transition, right? And a lot of females nowadays are what's the word? Independent. They feel like they can handle certain things. And obviously in the Bible has stated at some point that obviously there's a man of the house, and it's the man's responsibility to obviously take care of the child. Like it's the man's responsibility to hold the family. Is the head of the home, to hold the family. But we're living in an environment that there's just slightly subtle changes that's occurring, and we cannot ignore that and say, okay, yes, let's throw it to one side, because those they say little drops of water make a mighty ocean.
Definitely.
So those subtle changes, right? They grow, they transpire, and they get better, they get higher, they get more intense. And so, in certain aspects, right, there are certain environments, right? Before I'll go down into the nitty gritty, but there are certain environments where, like, a lot of the females, they feel like they could literally carry on the responsibilities for themselves, and that on its own has created like this paradigm of like where. Imagine if you just come up to a guy, and this happens everywhere, even for Lagos. I'll tell you facts, where like some guys, just because of the fact that there's some girls that literally just house a guy and just be like, okay, you know what, this is what's going to be. You don't have to do anything. You're just going to be my boy.
my toy.
You go with my toy. And it works fine for him.
Definitely.
You know, and his responsibility is not really to take care of the family. He's supposed to just sit in the house. And most of the time, it's just to look pretty. You know, go to the gym, work out, look pretty, and I'll take care of everything. And it's gone up to the point where, like, in some aspects, it's like some of them even acknowledge the fact that this women are actually in relationship with men that are more dominant, men that actually have the resources to actually hold the family together. But they accept that because the resources are coming from the man to him. So for him, it's not really a problem. For him, he has a link. You understand? And this is becoming predominantly like a major issue. And I'm just talking about like that in Lagos here, which I already know of, right? Literally. And then if we now decide, okay, let's take it on an international scale, right? Let's take it over to London or in the Europe. It's a known fact that a lot of Europeans, I don't want to really specifically point out any particular place so I don't get any backlash in the future or lose any kind of endorsement by the grace of God. But it's an old thing now in the Europe that the girls take care of their man, like, and girls take pride in taking care of their man, and their men are more laid back in the relationship. They buy them everything. They buy you the chains, buy you the and it's like a normal thing that's shifting. Obviously in Africa, we take pride in taking care of our women. It's part of our relationship. But like I said, it's trickling in subtly. And if you give it a matter of time, let's say you give it a time frame of like 10 to 5 years, 20 years, that shift might actually be very much dominant. You understand? So I understand the Bible and what the Bible has placed in, but let's look at it from
the reality
of it.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're able to touch on everything, because see, the truth about it is that every living thing grows. We are creatures. We are evolving. You know, we are here how many thousands of years now? See, we have the cameras, we have the lighting, we have the laptop. All these things were imaginations, ideologies. The mind grows. You know, the plant, you have to water the plant. It grows. Every living thing grows. And it's understandable that women come to a level of independence that they have actualized. Man, we are evolving. It was a time when men were the sole providers of the house, but now opportunities are open to everybody. So that's why I don't like the sense of the fact that we have feminists. Yeah, equal opportunities. Yeah, it might not be 100%, but to an extent, there is an equal level playing field. Even sometimes women are able to have an edge in the society to get some certain kind of jobs. You understand? There are some certain kind of jobs
that a man can have.
You can't even think of it.
Definitely.
They tell you the specifications for that job requirement. So that aside, regardless, the reality of things is that it's a prevalent factor. It didn't start today. Women are taking care of men, and this men results as a fact of being weak. The ideology of a man has to be a man of strength, a man of all-encompassing prowess, a total man. You have to be able, if you look back at it, no matter, yes, I hear a lot of women are very independent, which I give it to them. They have been one of they have been the genders that have been very subjected in certain things. But you understand that regardless of the prevalent circumstances that they have faced, they have been able to evolve, they have been able to grow to a different level, to be able to give to the home. They have been helpmates, and they are doing more than that because they have to grow. Every living thing grows. They go into society, become captains of industries. There are men that are weak, but if you look back at it, you still see that these women are still so loyal to a man that is strong. A man that is the head, a man that has taken responsibilities. Yes, I know there are women that have been very independent. I don't want people to think I am saying that.
That's what I mentioned. Like, there's always that acceptance, right? Yeah. But there's always a backlash, because with everything there's an advantage, there's a disadvantage, right? And like I mentioned earlier, some people might accept the fact that obviously they will still be submissive to a man that's much more dominant. as opposed to the person that they're being provided for. And I just feel like that's natural human instincts, which then brings us back to the fact that a man has to own responsibility for his family, which was obviously stated in the Bible. But we're shifting into a paradigm, like I said, where like it's becoming more accepted, and it's becoming more accepted to the point where like even it will get up that bad to the point like even if the side whatever the guy is aware of the fact that okay, there's a dominant factor in the relationship, he's acceptable of it, he's accepting of it, right? She might also now be accepting of the fact that he could also have something on his own. Do you understand? Things are changing. You understand?
Evolution.
Definitely. And so that brings me to where I'm driving at, right? Are we looking at a future where like relationships will be much more versatile? Family and understanding of what a home will be much more versatile? Or are we looking at the old structure of what things to be?
I think that question is for you. You should jump on that.
Tell me what you think.
Yeah, so that backlash you were talking about, I think I'm going to be part of the people who's going to be part of like the backlash. I love the fact that you mentioned the structure of the Bible. There's a reason why the Bible is the number one selling book on the planet right now, because there are certain structures, there are things that you should follow, and the people who have been following it, things have definitely been working for them. But then if you're in the mind frame of as time goes on, things are not gonna change, I feel like you're gonna be totally stuck.
You're gonna be stuck, definitely. Look at technology today.
Right.
Look at IE. And look at what IE is doing to social networks and businesses.
Right.
It's taking away the knowledge that you've learned in university for years, and it's giving it to the fingertips of someone that barely has a degree.
Artificial intelligence.
AI. Look at what it's doing right now. And I see some of all this stuff happening, and these people are just telling me, oh, download this app, and you know what? Something's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. This is gonna divide it. This is how it's gonna subtract it. This is how it's going to superimpose it. Right. And I look at my head. This is all the things I could have done. Like I could have been doing this stuff, but like it's not. This is at the fingertips of people. Yeah, and that's just technology.
A lot of people don't want to accept change until change is the only option for you. It's just like how AI. I read this amazing reading or news script or whatever, and it says how AI figured out the cure for some certain kind of cancer and how long the person was going to live and stuff like that. So someone who is against progressive change will not agree with that until their wife has cancer, until their son has cancer,
until it hits rock bottom.
Until it hits rock bottom, then you're gonna be like, oh, I'm let me just accept this change so that AI can save my wife. It's like, bro, what side are you on? You have to accept change for progress. And
if you choose to not accept change, then you're stuck in like you're stuck.
You're stuck somewhere.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Sorry to come in. Yeah. See, evolution happens. We had the Ice Age, we had the Stone Age, we had the Golden Age, we have the Industrial Age. Everything happens. Time and chance happens to everything on the earth. You understand? And that's why human beings we have, to be honest, we have been so disconnected with nature, because if you look at nature, everything has a balance. Everything, we have times and seasons. We can't see corn grow in a season when orange should grow. Just for instance, you understand? Yeah. Everything has times and seasons, and everything is evolving. So we have to understand that these things are going to happen. Okay, use it for an example. I have a sister that is very independent. You understand? Yeah. Very, very independent. She's a go-to person. She knows. She's very read. She has had raw intelligence. This one is not even books, but raw intelligence. Right from when she has been small, she has been settling things. She has been able to fend for herself. As far as I've known my sister, it's only my dad has ever given her money. As far as I'm concerned, you understand? As far as it's only my dad, will I say, that has really funded her.
So wouldn't you want someone like that to be some sort of leader?
Yeah, but now she has been able to find her footing and fund herself. Tomorrow now, she's able to sustain herself. God forbid she meets a man that maybe is not able to sustain, because she has lived a certain kind of lifestyle, because she's been able to not subject herself to a man, but because of her own intelligence, figure out life and be able to make a name for herself in her own industry, do what she can do. I understand that we are all evolving, so we have to be able to understand that these things are happening, change, but it doesn't give us, because we know that a woman is going to have the same access to opportunities to be laid back. The man is the head of the home. If you see sometimes when a woman is getting so much finances and all that, and the man is being redundant or not doing the certain thing, that's when she can even like disregard him regardless.
So what you're saying is this change, this evolvement should also still play within the paradigms of the man being the leader.
The man has to be.
So you're saying regardless of it, right? It has to still evolve in that same standard. We have to sort of like accept change, right? But still play based off that.
Okay, let me just give an analogy. What would happen if you turn this laptop, like this is the screen, you turn it upside down, and you're looking, the screen is down and the keyboards are up. You see, you have distorted the way in which this thing is meant to operate.
Yeah, the perception.
So if the Bible is the oldest book and it's been written and it says, okay, the man is the head of the home, the man is the umbrella of the home. He, regardless of him being out of job, you married him, yeah, and that's the problem. To be honest, yeah, a lot of people are going into marriages because they don't know why marriages are created. Sorry to say, I believe people should be able. If you're not ready for a marriage, you shouldn't jump on it, because you're bringing a woman under your roof. You're not just picking any person. You should be able to know that, guy, can I stay in this thing? That's another talk for another day.
Yeah, definitely.
But as the man, So
keep going.
Yeah, so you have to know that regardless, she might be able to have the funds, but you just have to know that you're the man of the house, regardless of how she's being. Yeah, we hear a lot of alpha females. It's happening. They are captives of industries, but do you know that if you look at the Okonji Wellers, they still defer to a man?
What about the respect that comes in between it? Now, I can understand from your perspective that you're saying that if the man is more dominant in the relationship, right, there will be a certain level of respect, right? Mm-hmm. Now, let's take, for instance, your sister, okay? Because you obviously mentioned your sister and how independent she is, and she's funding for herself, right? Now, what if sister falls in love with a guy, right? Definitely. And the guy is not up to the hierarchy of where she is in terms of like funding, in terms of like finances, in terms of like bringing in, stacking in the cash, right? But she does fall in love with him, right? This is nice to be in the relationship with him. Do you think at the state and at the level of where she is, that she will go home, she'll work, she'll hustle, she'll bring in the cash, she'll do everything, blah blah, everything that requires finance, take care of the kid, pay for all the bills, do everything, and still come back to the home, and when he comes back to a home to a man that is not up to the part of it, and still have to feed him and then serve him as well. What do you think that's if they haven't established from the onset what the relationship is all about? I feel like there's going to be a certain level of disrespect in that relationship.
Yeah,
that beats what the Bible gives you.
I think in this situation you have to call a spade, and you have to call a plastic spoon. This argument, even talking about the Bible, leaves you stuck in a place where you cannot get out of, and that alone is the male ego speaking. The men are so afraid to say, you know what, one day a woman is going to be the president of Nigeria. Men cannot take it. Men cannot handle it. One day a woman is going to lead this thing or that. I mean, it's showing in our society all the time. Men naturally get more jobs than women. Men naturally do more and more of this and that. But now we have female astronauts. We have female. I'm a licensed airplane pilot. And
I think we just had a recent female governor in Nigeria.
Is it in contention?
Is it in contention?
Yeah.
So there has to be a debate. Can you imagine?
Well, I think there's politics to that. There's politics. When we are on that show, we talk politics.
Yes, definitely.
There are valid reasons for that contention and debate. But anyways. Yeah. As I was saying, when I was doing my aviation training, the best pilots who would land planes smoothly, the best pilots who are meticulous about everything and whatever is a woman. Okay? And experiencing that, I would rather have that kind of person, fly me. What the men were doing where there were men who were caught for like doing drugs while learning how to fly. There were men who were just not as serious, even if they were good pilots and stuff like that. So the real question is like, who would I rather handle a plane who is handling the lives of hundreds of people? Is it the person who pays more attention to detail and stuff like that? So when we're trying to make these kind of important decisions, we need to drop that male ego just for a little bit. It doesn't mean that the male is not the head of the family. It doesn't mean the man is less of a man. It doesn't mean a man is not a man. Drop that ego a little bit and do the right thing, make the right decisions and stuff like that. Yes, God has said, the man is the head of the family, and so. But bro, we're in 2023. We're in 2023 and we have to adjust as time goes on.
As time progresses.
It's time to progress.
Yes. Most definitely. But if you now look at let's look at it in some relationships, like in some family household where like responsibilities are divided. You understand that in sending households, in same families, same countries. I think I was reading up on this. I think it was in Australia or Austria. I'm not too sure. Back in the 80s or way back, where most of the responsibilities were adequately divided. So let's say you're in a family of 4. You have 4 children. The house, you have the head of the man and obviously the women, and it's the man's responsibility to handle 2. This 2 are yours. So these 2 are yours. And don't bring this responsibility over to me. So in some households, like there's divided responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
So what's your understanding about that? Do you think that's the actual approach to was that a better approach? Because obviously the paradigm has shifted. But is that a better? Do you think that was a much more better approach in terms of like family and holding a household together, where you divide both responsibilities as well as the kid? And so like if one side is lacking, it's really none of my business.
Well, in my own opinion, yes. The thing about it is that the women folk, whenever you give, according to Miles Monroe, and it's through the scriptures he used, God rest his soul, that was one of the greatest men. You understand that whatever you give a woman, she multiplies. You give a woman a sperm, she multiplies into a full-blown human being. The things you give a woman, food stuff, she's able to do things. Women should know that they are very, very powerful, and that's a fact. And we are not disputing that fact. Never. I'm not going to dispute that fact. Yeah, we have to have a balanced equation when we are discussing about things that have shaped the society and things that have formed the ideologies in which we have used to run the society. That's by the way. But the thing about is, coming from where your whole analogy is that life, like I say, is happening to each and every one of us, and we have to understand that whether you like it or not, it's bound to happen. Like you can't. There are some things you can't stop it. Time has been moving. That you can't stop. You have to be able to understand times and seasons. You just have to be able to understand that these are things that are happening, and this is how you should be able to contend with those things through your knowledge of the informed choices you have been able to be able to create through experiences.
But
and the
you made mention something about like in your family, like your upbringing sort of determines your own perception of what a family should be, and what you know your own approach should be in terms of like who is more dominant and what's in a relationship. Now in this case, like imagine like I was saying, two definitely, right? It's segregated responsibilities. So obviously, you know that emotions are going to be shifted. Obviously, you know that emotions are going to be shifted amongst both parts. Like if I have segregated 2 kids to you and you have segregated 2 kids to me, it means these 2 are my major priority. Yeah. So I'll do everything within my capability to ensure that these 2 strive. And you also have to do everything within your own capability to ensure that these 2 strive. Now, from the perspective of the kid, do you feel like the whoever is being supported, right? Do you feel like they're being isolated, or how do you feel the perception of it will be? Do you think that they will look at one side and see like I'm being favored more as opposed to the other side? We're understanding the dynamics of what the initial agreement between both parties was.
Okay, so
that on its own could independently now decide to make one side say, okay, you know what? When I grow up, I am going to be a mean dad, or I'm going to be a mean.
Yeah, I get you. Sorry to just cut you, because I had an experience. Okay, this happens a lot in homes that are divorced. Like when family, the father says, okay, I'm going to be taking care of these children, I'm going to be doing so much. I had people that were like, okay, my father is giving me this, he buys me these things, my mom doesn't know. But that's a dysfunctional society, you understand? I'm not coming from that kind of background. So the kind of opinions I'll be able to generate here are opinions based on what I have experienced through people's lives, not my life, you understand? But that kind of society is already dysfunctional, one. But if peradventure the father says, I want to take care of these 2 kids, I want to take care of Chinedu and Taye, or Aliu and Amina, you understand? You take care of those ones. It's already happening. The children, there's already a division. The family is meant to be a feast. You know, wherever the feast punches at, you're able to control. Whatever you punch at, you're able to like dominate. You're able to push through. So, but for what is what, when that happens, the kids are going to be dysfunctional. They're going to come out to a society where they think that's normal. And when they form their own reality of that kind of situation, yes, they move on with it. But it still creates ripple effects. It still creates situations where it's going to have a backlash. And you can't do I don't know. You should be able to do something about it, but it will take the grace of God, because it's still growing. We are evolving. Things are going to. We have not even seen. Human beings have not even. We have not finished exploring our most. This laptop, there will be an AI. We are talking about AI. AI has come to stay. It's going to be a technology that would assist human beings, and human beings, like the human mind, is growing. There are people that are in their privacy. Their mind is working. Like I said, a lot of people are they are concentrated on the things that are wrong, because now the society is forming in a different shape. It's taking a different tone, and we have to be able to move with times and seasons. So I would like you to just chip on.
So definitely. What that's still. What I'm still trying to understand, particularly, is the perception, right, of who is being catered for. That's the ideology I want to focus on, right? The perception of who is being catered for. You are in a relationship, right? And you're in a relationship, you're in a family, not understanding the dynamics of what is going on. You are just a teenager, right? And basically supposed to shape you, right? But somehow, right, we have shifted from independent responsibilities, which still happens to today. We have now shifted all the way to masculine responsibility, which still happens in certain places. And now we're diving into feminine responsibilities. So you can understand that despite the fact that evolution is happening, right, there are a lot of young people with different ideology and perception of what life should be.
Right.
That's where I want to attack.
Okay, so I think, like he said, you have to look at the family as a whole. It will be a bit unfair if you say, you know what, you take care of these 2 kids and you take care of these other 2 kids. Because at a point, one child is going to feel like, oh, I'm not getting the benefits of this parent enough. And the other child is going to be like, I'm not getting the benefits of the other parent enough. I'll give an example. Like, what if you have a mother who is a brain surgeon, and she happens to fall in love because she's in the medical field with a husband who is a nurse? Okay, it's gonna get to a point where she's gonna have to just randomly go out to perform brain surgeries and stuff, and the husband is gonna be at home. So you have to be able to like split responsibilities, and in order to do that fairly, I wrote down some points, and some points like, okay, you have to be able to rethink your goals, you have to be able to list your responsibilities, you have to be able to ask questions, you have to be able to plan your schedule, you have to be able to shed traditional values. Okay, we're Africans, we have to follow traditional values. It is important to us, but you have to know when to call it quits temporarily so that you can be able to make the best possible decision for your family. Like he was talking about dysfunctional homes where you know, how do you have it where a child who doesn't have a father, you know, starts to say that, oh, I wish my father was here so he could, you know, teach me how to play football, he could teach me how to do the masculine things and stuff like that. There's a time for that. There's a time where you need a man to show you how to play football and stuff like that, and there's a time where you need the woman to do. But then again, in the times we're speaking now, you have like the soccer moms who are always at the soccer practice for their sons' football games and stuff like that.
Definitely.
You know, so you, in everything in life, just like your diet and just like everything, it's just about the balance. You know, there was a talk about how energy drinks are like so bad for you and how it does this and how it does that. But you know, at a point we need the energy from energy drinks. Energy drinks can be a disaster, you know, but you know, you can't just say, you know what, let's just cancel energy drinks because dot. You as a person, you have to know when to balance.
That's where self-discipline comes in.
Self-discipline,
control.
Yeah.
So basically, you're trying to say setting a good example, basically, right? Depending on, regardless of what the circumstances are, it's setting a good example, and setting a good example will determine the narrative or the direction that the child will go. Setting a good example, owning up to responsibilities,
right?
Always being present, associating, attributing important factors, and being present and active in the child's life. Communication, which is very, very important, you know, constantly, you know, discussing issues and problems, but basically owning up to all those responsibilities. And is it that you feel that it's something that one person shouldn't be divided, and this is a responsibility that one person should own and should try and distribute it amongst all kids? You know how they say, some people say they have their favorites. And it's always true, indirectly, even though some parents might necessarily come out to you and tell you that, hey, you know what, I love all my kids equally.
Well, that's where different family dynamics come in. My family can never be your family. I'll give an example. Like when I moved back to Nigeria, I, you know, had to move back into my parents' house, you know, but in the house, there's no house help, there is no worker and stuff like that. It's not as if we cannot afford one, but we're happy to do things for ourselves. My dad will walk into the kitchen, you know, this is an airline captain and a policeman, okay? He would happily go into the kitchen and, you know, do his dishes and peacefully keep it there. In some other houses, that is going to be drama and stuff. I have friends who would tell me that, oh, look, I barely know my father. I barely know my mother because they're just not close enough to them.
Yeah, not present.
I could tell everybody everything about my father. I could tell everybody everything about my mother because I have had a good dose of experience and relationship and love from both parents. You know, it might seem like an unfair thing to say because there's some people who just don't have a father and stuff like that. That's where balance comes in as well. Yeah. Okay, if you don't have the father, go and get that experience from your uncle. You know, go and get that experience from your cousin who knows what you're looking for. You know, create that balance in your life. Be grateful. Show gratitude about the present, where you are right now, and try and sort things out from there. I noticed that gratitude is a good place to solve things, to treat things, because when you treat things from that angle, you're able to solve things with a calm state of mind and a place of happiness. So if you take that to the family home right now, when you sort out stuff with your family from a calm place of mind, communication, and splitting things the way it should be split, it would work better for everyone. Benefits from it.
But what happens when ego comes into the picture? When ego plays a dominant role in the picture,
that totally destroys everything.
And that's associated with men a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I make reference to it's typically in Africa. Okay, typically in Africa, that's where it comes in, and it's very difficult for an African man to show emotions.
Right.
African men, they hurdle their emotions, they keep it inside. An African man could be at a breaking point right now. Like literally, you see him and he'll smile to your face, and if you tamper with one or two things that alter his ego, you see the ego even reflect more. And you are at the stage in life where you are supposed to bring things out. I think I was going through some, how you be on WhatsApp and people be sending you messages and stuff, and there was this a video that came in, right? I think it was from a ministry or something of some sort, and he was talking about how women live longer than men, particularly because they have multiple avenues and resources as to where they can spread and dispute their emotions and their problems. A woman wouldn't huddle a lot of that. Right. They have avenues. They have friends they could talk to about their emotions. They have their mom they could call. They have this person. They have that person. They have this person, and then they'll spread it. And not knowing subconsciously that by them exercising those minimal factors, they're actually helping themselves heal, because it's a healing process. They say a problem shared is half solved.
Right.
So, but for men, they huddle it. They hold it in. And ego comes into play multiple times. So imagine in a relationship that where the man feels like he has to still be the man, which is still the same problem in Africa right here. And I'm telling you the fact, because that's how a lot of it is, right? And what I'm trying to understand, and what I'm trying to express to people, I'm trying to put out there, particularly, this is my own opinion, is that there's no real need for you to bottle things up. This is 2023. There's no real need for you to bottle things up and choke yourself up to the neck.
So
you understand? If there's a problem, bring it out, because most definitely you are going to take that same issue back into your family,
right.
and that's where misconducts, and that's where issues now pop up in the dynamics between who is in charge and who isn't in charge. Right. You understand? And then when the feminine factor that is supposed to be more submissive comes in with the big bag, you feel intimidated. So because of that, you feel like you go and deteriorate yourself to something lesser, and then you're choking yourself up to the point where you might not give a damn about life anymore.
Sorry, because that's why I love men. Africans are very suicidal. See, the truth about it is that it's in our blood. You understand? No matter how, education comes, technology comes, the blood is the blood. The blood is very strong. There's nothing as thick as blood. Blood is DNA, is genes, is who you are. Who your ancestors were, who your forefathers were, is passed down. There are some certain things that you just have to demonstrate. Most times, there are a lot of people that are just no matter how society is bad, if your spirit is not weak, it can't be weakened. If you're an alpha male, you are an alpha male. And if you're a girl that has been, most times,
what about understanding? We understand that your blood, they say blood is thicker than water. We understand that, but there's also a word called understanding. There's also a word called wisdom. There's also a word called patience. There's also a word called listening. These things were not placed there for fun. These things were placed to make you a greater version of who you are. Definitely. Now, if you can implement that beyond what is in your blood and beyond that ego that you perceive so much that you feel is going to take you to the next phase of your life, right? And try and implement some of all those subtle factors that make you a human being, I feel like your wisdom will be beyond.
You see why I like you, Meka. You're a really, really, really versatile and intellectual individual, and I like the fact that you're trying to balance it, and I won't take it for a sense of argument, or I like to balance things on the whole sides. The truth about it is that, from my example, okay, using what you said about family dividing, there are some certain things. Yeah, there are some certain things. My father was the sole provider. Yeah, my mom is a hustler, businesswoman, trader, writer. She does hats. She does a lot of accessories. She hustled, studied history teacher. There are some certain things she didn't wait for my father to tell her to do, but she had to do it, regardless of the fact that my dad would still provide those things. But she had to do those things to at least elevate it. And that's why the thing about mind. A woman is married and she understands, okay, she's the helpmeet. The husband might have all the money in the house, or she might even have more. You understand? I don't think I ever saw my mom having okay, maybe there was a time she had more at the time, or yes, because that's life. And sometimes that it's not going to be rosary. She had money coming in, but I never saw that flitch of, okay, my father is not the head of that. You have to have that understanding. You have that balance. My dad will be responsible for school fees and a lot of provisions in the house. But my mom does feeding. See, the truth about it is checks and balance. Life is meant to be balanced. There has to be a circle of life. And yeah, we might not have all the ideas in the world. Most of the things we are saying here is our own opinion, right. And our own opinions are came from are molded from our own experiences, our own ideologies. But it still resonates with a whole lot of people, because the same life you're living is the whole people that are watching, the viewers, which are more important, because we are sharing our knowledge and we are expressing how you feel. We are saying things that you're experiencing, and we are not holding back. That's why it's not like we are better than them, but we are also experiencing the same societal development dysfunctions, and we are trying to thrive. So whatever we are saying is from our own opinion, from my own opinion, but based on what has been established through the principles of the Bible and the sages and elderly people. I prefer to understand that there is a hierarchy to things, regardless of the situation it is. I don't think you should be able to divide how the family is. Yes, it's happening, yeah, but in Africa, it's not that bad yet. I know it's still crippling in, because
it is crippling.
It's crippling in, and you can't change it.
Listen, it's crippling in, right? And you will be naive, right?
To think it can
to ignore the fact that it is predominantly
it will be very naive.
Now, if we even want to even venture into certain other industry, particularly my own industry, which I love the most, which is the musical industry, you can also even see that there's the wave coming in with the wave that and the waves that Mekkamillz have paved, the Cardi B's have paved, and we have some what's that lighty girl with the
I don't know if you're doing some endorsements, but we should be calling our names. The truth about it.
No. Listen, I'm not making no endorsements. I'm saying that this a way. It's happening. They have set a trend, and that trend is based off independency. That trend is based off bossing up on men. We cannot ignore that, despite of our ego. So what we have to now figure out is how we could coexist, or what the future holds.
Not trying to destroy the hierarchy, but like what happens in the situation where the man just cannot do it anymore. Exactly. Things can happen like he can be terminally ill.
What could be the balance?
What could be the balance?
Be the difference?
Okay, you go.
It's fixing the problem. It's not swimming against the wave.
Yeah.
Right?
What could be the balance?
Exactly.
I want to hear your own opinion on that.
The greatest message of all religions is love. Okay? If you have love in the family, you'll be able to sort out anything. The ego dies. The ego dies right there. Which African man? When I guess problem. Like, you guys like we think that, yes, because I'm not able to do this and I'm not able to do that, it does not take away the fact that you are the man of the house. You will always be the man of the house, but don't let your ego take you to a point where you say, you know what, I'm not going to allow my wife to provide for a change. I'm not going to allow my wife to do this because I am the man of the house. Get a life and be intelligent with your decisions, you know, so that your house can thrive, you know, balance with everything, you know. I usually don't like to go into, you know, too much talk and too much debate, because we live in a world where all this information and stuff like that, you can check yourself. You can check yourself. Sometimes, you know, the woman just has to do. Look at the countries that are thriving right now: Finland, Namibia, the Bahamas, and stuff like that. They have strong. Oh my God! By the way, let me just put it out there. I am not a feminist, you know, but if a female leader is going to be the one that is going to bring improvement, bring positivity, bring a good, great, positive change to the country, then let her lead. You know, we really have to break down that ego that doesn't allow us to, like, you know, progress.
Yeah.
If it's a man that is going to do it, put the man there. If it's a woman that is going to do it, put her there as well. You know, that being said, in your house, if those kind of things happen, you are still the man of the house, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And another thing I also you know be quite observant of is a lot of people particularly feel like because we, you know, as men are attributed to ego, women are also attributed to emotions. And so when it's time to make a crucial decision, right, emotions don't come in play. The crucial decisions when it's life changing, when it's yes, certain things have to be boycotted for certain things to happen.
So are you saying emotions are for women and the other things are for men?
The thing about it is that I'm not trying to venture into too much. I'm just also basically speaking based off my own understanding,
right,
and based on my experiences, right? And women are very loving, very caring, very compassionate, very
soft.
No, don't say that. There's something.
I thought you were describing you know, I said the world goes round, but the women make the world go round.
So they could be very, very compassionate about things, and so
they're very tender.
They're saying decisions, right? They're saying decisions that need to be made, right? That do not require any of those attributes. That requires a stone cold face, and that's why most of the successful ones, right? If you pay observance to most of them, they are really cutthroat. And if the cutthroat ones, if you notice, I pay attention. The cutthroat ones tend to progress higher and quicker. So because when you need to snap, if you are those types that you can't snap like that, there's a high possibility that you might get bullied in a world predominantly dominant by men.
Okay, that's a very, like, absolute thing to say. That's assuming that like you said, men showing emotions and stuff like that, holding your emotions and stuff like that. For a peaceful society, you have to learn when to show your emotions and when not to show your emotions. I'm gonna give a little example. That is Osinachi lady that died. You know, when you holding your emotions and holding your emotions and holding your emotions and holding your emotions, it will get to a point where you cannot hold it anymore, and you will do something so drastic and so dangerous when it all comes out, and it just leads to a disaster, you know. Now, we saying stuff like this is just assuming that there are not some men who are not hard naturally. Saying things like, oh, there's some men who yes, how it is like, okay, men are not meant to be soft, men are not meant to show emotions and stuff like that, but that is a very dangerous place to be. It's a very dangerous place to be, because
it is. I made mention of it earlier. It definitely is.
When it eventually comes out, disaster is going to be struck. You know, maybe a life might be taken, like the example I gave, you know, right now. So I think we need to stop, you know, being in the rhetoric of like, oh, you know what, a man always has to be hard. No, he doesn't. Or a man always doesn't have to show emotions. No,
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think we're coming to an era where like it's 101% okay for you to express yourself.
Right.
Self-expression is very important.
It's the era of being intelligent.
Yeah, self-expression
being
is very important.
Emotionally intelligent, being socially intelligent,
but
all of that.
But finding the right balance.
Finding the right balance of it all.
And that's where studying, that's where imputing, that's where understanding, that's where communication, like you were saying, that's where discussing, that's where everything you mentioned in terms of like on understanding the kid and in being the masculine figure in the relationship comes in. All those things kind of like help you, kind of like shapes that it kind of molds that your emotional attributes. Because if you don't indulge in those things, you might not be able to tap into certain currents. If you don't indulge if you don't try to understand why your kid is upset, but he hasn't spoken one word to you, but he eat breakfast morning, afternoon, night, but he hasn't smiled for 4 days, it means that you yourself haven't even tapped into your own emotional strength.
Right.
So by the time you start understanding those communication aspects, right, it'll be very easy for you to walk up to him and say, "Yo, you're disconnecting.
Right.
You've eaten 3 times a day, but boy, you haven't smiled for 1 week.
Right.
What's wrong?"
Do you
understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you can figure that out, that automatically heals you.
True.
But so like I said, if we decide that we want to get stuck in our egotistic attributes, right, it's going to be difficult for us to kind of like find that balance.
That's where the intelligence of picking who the leader of the family should be, because one person in the family might not be able to decipher that, oh, you know what, something is wrong with my son. Maybe I should speak to him about why, he's been eating, but, he hasn't been able to address it to us. Fear and not being comfortable to, address it with a particular parent and stuff like that. That's why when you have a balanced house and you have, your kids being able to, if this problem happens, I'm able to speak to my dad. If this problem happens, I'm able to speak to my mom. Not, I would rather speak to my mom because of this.
Yes.
And I would rather speak to my dad because of this. This does not take away from who each person is. It's like, it's lovely seeing a house where, you can speak to absolutely anybody, because all human beings were not equal. Some people are angrier than other people. Some people are more intelligent than other people. Some people are more. So in delegating those different tasks, you have to delegate. Like, for example, you would never see like let my father in the house like say, oh, I'm going to the markets to go and buy tomato and pepper, because he'll probably come back with coconuts and potatoes. So we're intelligent enough to know that, okay, that particular task is going to be my mother. But for example, my younger brother, on the other hand, you can actually delegate those kind of tasks to him, because he is a chef and he knows where to go and get the tomato and pepper. But like some guy will now come and say that, but is that not a woman's job? Excuse me, while he makes money doing that.
The day that the door.
But before I get attacked by the public, or everything I'm saying is from my experiences and in my opinion.
Definitely.
Nothing is set in stone, and nothing is permanent, fixed or permanent like that.
Completely understand. So Chike, what's your last take on this topic? What's your last take? What would you want to say to like just summarize your own opinion, basically, in terms of the chain of leadership?
Okay, so basically, taking an anchor from where my brother just talked about love, you have to understand that love is very powerful. It's the only international language that conquers any kind of skin color. Love conquers everything, and that's what Christ came to preach. Love thy neighbor as thyself. You understand? So you have to understand that regardless of, yes, the house, the family is a society, is a structure. You can have all the money as the female, you understand? And I doff my heart for you to be able to go into the world and make all that money, because you're the helpmate. The man is not always going to be 100 all the time, because times and seasons, like I said, happens to everybody, you understand? So just for us to have a balanced opinion, so that we don't leave people taking a part of this segment and just say, I'm holding on to this. I'm holding on to this because regardless of, as it is, our tongue, like he says, life and death is in our tongue. So regardless of how we speak, you don't know, people might take another angle, but I want us to have a balanced conversation on this. Yes, it happens. It's come to stay. Women are becoming more independent. Women are becoming more substantial. They can be able to provide the basic things that they need. And men should not be laid back. I know it doesn't happen all the time. There's sometimes society environments give way for women to thrive more than men because they pay more attention, which should not be so, because Mecca, God will help us. We should be able to have an NGO for young boys too, because the men are the head of the family.
I think in the enlightenments, right? I think a lot of men out here need super enlightenment, and the problem is that like a lot of people haven't had the confidence to really pay attention to it because we've just been drowned by this ideology of the fact that a man has to be a man. And I feel like the moment institutions and establishments start coming out and start focusing particularly right on masculine issues, right,
a lot of things will be solved.
You are going to see a crowd,
a lot of things, because
you are going to see people pull the, like, I don't want to say F up, but like you want to see people pull up. Like, what the fuck? Like, people are really going to come out.
Yeah. The girl child is also
from the bushes.
Yeah,
right.
the girl child, as much as it's important, the boy child is also important because for what is what, yeah, the man is still going to be, when people talk about cases of rape or molestation, it's still the man, regardless of why you training a girl child when she's the one that is going to be at the receiving end. The boys are still very important. We are the men of the society. We are the ones that shape the society. But yet, the women make the world go round. And I can't take that away. Most of the greatest wars that have been fought in this world, the women folk had a hand in it. So I want them to understand from my own opinion that they are really powerful and they are really well equipped. But there are some certain things that should be balanced, okay? The man can have good times, can have bad times. You're the wife, you're the helpmate. Nobody should know that your man, because he's out of job or he doesn't have money, you're the one feeding him. It doesn't make sense. You understand? You are the people you're telling, they are disrespecting you. You understand? There's a respect. Yes, I'm speaking from the African sense, but predominantly it's everywhere. No matter if you go to the west, you go to the east, it happens everywhere. The Westerners still practice, yet it might not be as traditional as it should be, because Africa is the cradle of civilization, and we are very traditionalist people. So Africans take things very, very traditional. So I am speaking to an African audience, but to a global audience. But I'm still trying to say there has to be in life balance. In this circle of life, there has to be balance.
Definitely.
So I will just end that on that note, and I think that would be my summary on
love and balance.
Love and
balance.
Very necessary. People, you said a lot about communication. You said a lot about understanding. You spoke more about like trying to, be involved in the life of the life of who you're taking responsibility of, as opposed to just being the alter ego and just shutting out some of those key attributes that could necessarily make the relationship a lot more better.
Right.
I took a lot from that.
I agree with the fact that a man should be a man, but I also like the message we have said, you always have to come from a place of love so that you're able to, create the balance that is necessary for you to sort out the important things in your family. Yeah, so love and balance is such a great message to end this show.
Love and balance, definitely. You know what time it is, people? Mekkamillz always out here to give that good, depending on how you feel. This is RadarVault Podcast Season 1. No, Season 2. Sorry.
We're coming back stronger and
bigger, and with much more energy, and whatever relationship you're in, whatever be you the alter ego, be you the lesser one, as far as this understanding, right? And for me, my takeout from all of this is finding the right balance on all aspect of it. You understand? Whatever dynamics is in the relationship, there has to be some sort of understanding. So if you can find a mutual ground where you all could, could surf or just glide your boat and just make things happen for yourself. I mean, just find that, understand yourself. You understand? So this RadarVault podcast season 2, episode 1. I was here kicking it with my homeboy Chike and Bebo. We came through and we just spoke our mind.
No, it's a pleasure to be here.
So I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Make sure you have a blessed day and a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Oh, love. Go, gadget flow. I'm on my go, gadget flow. Go, gadget flow.